Hello, welcome to Physio Ed. This is your therapeutic yoga class. My name is Francesca, and I'm so happy to have you here today. So before we get started, before you sit down, make sure that you grab a couple of blocks or something similar. If you don't have yoga blocks, just some kind of more sturdy pillows would do, or you could grab a couple of blankets. So I'm actually sitting up on 2 yoga blankets right now. Of course, any type of blanket will do, but you'll see why once we get into class a little bit more. We're going to be working on some a little bit more intricate, might feel a little bit complicated, dare I say, just some seated poses, and you're gonna really appreciate being up a little bit higher. So you'll see what I mean. So go ahead and grab those props for yourself. Okay. If you have a yoga strap, go ahead and grab that as well. You can also use like a scarf or a tie, a belt, anything like that will do also. Okay. So go ahead and just find a comfortable seat. You don't have to sit like I am. You can sit in, this is called a Z position, the Z sit. You can sit like this. You can sit with both of your legs behind you. Whatever feels most comfortable for your hips and where you feel like you can sit up nice and tall. Okay. So I will keep coming back to those 2 things throughout our class today. Feeling even or equal on your sits bones, and then simultaneously also being able to lift up and out and lengthen your spine, okay? So bring your palms up so that your palms are facing the ceiling or the sky if you're outside. And you can place them sort of closer to your knees or back toward your hips a little bit more, whatever feels best for you. And allow your eyes to close when you feel ready. And we do this just as a way to differentiate, what we were doing right before our time together, right before your practice, and the practice itself. So just a little kind of bookmark, little earmark there. So we're doing something different now. We are entering into the space of practice, whatever that means for you. It's a time, hopefully, for some quiet, some reflection, some kindness to yourself, some honesty, and some work. We are working with the body here, working with the mind, the breath. And so on that note, bring your focus to your breath and just notice, what does my breath feel like today? Does it feel a little ragged or jerky, or like there's hesitations or interruptions? Does it feel like challenging to breathe in or to take a full exhale? Notice the space in between your inhales and exhales, that slight pause. Take a few more moments here. Okay, so before you open your eyes, make sure that you set an intention for your practice, and it can be something as simple as I'm going to work on being more present, I'm going to work on being kind, listening to my body, trying something new. It doesn't have to be, anything fancy or intricate or esoteric. It could just be something really grounded, practical, something that is meaningful to you in this moment, though. Okay. So when you're ready, you can open your eyes and reach your right arm out in front of you like you're going to shake my hand. And then we're going to reach the right arm up overhead. Let your arm externally rotate as you bring it back behind you and down. So we're just going to make big circle. Okay, 3 times in this direction. And notice I'm letting my body twist and open up. Okay, and then 3 times the other direction. You might even follow your fingertips with your eyes. Excellent. Let's try the other arm. So left hand, bring it out in front of you like you're going to shake my hand, and then bring it back like you're doing a backstroke. Good. And make this as big of a movement as you can. And then 3 times the other direction. Wonderful. Breath in. Breath out. Good. Feels so much better already. A little bit of space in the shoulders. So bring your hands in front of you and interlace your fingers. Push your palms out toward me. You can straighten your elbows. You can keep them bent. Doesn't matter too much, but keep your shoulders, the tops of your shoulders, away from your ears. And just reach your arms up overhead. And I'm not going to go all the way at first. I'm just going to kind of bring them here. Check in with my shoulders. Bring my shoulder blades down my back. And then maybe I bring them up a little bit farther. So wherever they are, up overhead or out in front of you a little bit, just push through your palms. And you're working on stretching this whole, in my case, it's my left side. So root down through your left sits bone. Push down there and keep pushing your palms out. So you're just stretching your whole left side. And if your arms were up overhead a little bit more, it would look more like this. Okay, so come back to center, lower your arms just for a little rest here. Okay, notice how that left side might feel a little bit longer, a little bit more energized. Interlace your fingers again with the other thumb on top. Push your palms out. Good, and up. Keep your shoulder blades moving down your spine. Feels good right about there. And then you're gonna push out to the side. Okay, chin is tucked. You're just sort of letting your head rest in line with the rest of your spine. Push your right sits bone down. And I notice this side is a little bit more challenging for me. Notice what it feels like for you. Sometimes I even like to do this, come into a little bit of a back bend. Okay, good. And then come back to center. Go ahead and grab your blocks or whatever you're using as blocks today. Really thick books also work really well. And then we're gonna do some sort of forward bend. So you can do it with your legs crossed in any way. You can also bring your legs out in front of you. I have a lot of students who really just prefer that. It just feels better. So whatever it is for you, if you can see a little bit from the side here, notice I'm sitting at the front of my blanket. And then I'm gonna try to hinge at my hips here and let myself come forward, okay? So notice I put my forearms down. You can stay up on your hands. Feet are active, I'm not letting them just hang out like that, but I'm pushing through my heels. Good. And maybe sway a little bit. So we are going to be working with hips today. We're going to be stretching in some new ways. I mentioned it might feel a little bit kind of complicated at times, but we'll do our best here to just see what we can do. So start to make some circles. We're just doing some really gentle warm-ups before we go into some of the specific poses. Yeah, so we're just making circles, and if your legs are crossed, you know, it would still kind of look the same. You're just making circles here. Yeah. Good. And if it feels boring, cool, no problem. Just deepen your breath, focus on your breath, enjoy the fact that this feels, you know, maybe a little boring, easy. Be curious here. You can always deepen the experience by tuning more into the sensations that you're feeling and by breathing deeper. All right. So we're ready for our first pose. I'm going to turn to the side. You don't need to, but I'll turn so that you can see me. So you can see again here how I'm at the front, right? I'm not all the way back here. That feels more comfortable, actually. But for our purposes, we want to be kind of more in the front a little bit, okay? So bring one block behind you, okay? I'm going to put mine at the medium height. And just bring your hands to your knees, legs are crossed, sit up nice and tall. Many of us tend to bring, including myself, your head forward. So try to bring your head back in space and just see if you can sense the alignment of your ears over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips. And take a breath like this without moving your body too much, other than just your rib cage being moved by your breath. Okay, if you closed your eyes, go ahead and open them. Breathe in, reach your arms out to the sides and up over your head. And then you'll turn toward your right. Bring your right hand on the block behind you. And then your left hand to your right thigh. Okay, so we're starting with something pretty simple. We've done this before. So notice my elbows bent. You know, the block is as close as I can get it with the blankets there. So I'm going to press my left hand into my thigh, work on rotating this around. And then maybe even look behind you. Keep pushing and putting pressure into that back hand so you're actively lengthening this right side of your body. And you can see my breath here. I'm able to take a full breath in and then let it out. Okay, if you find that you can't do that, just ease out of this a bit. Okay, so we're going to revisit this in a moment. Breathe in, reach your arms up and overhead, and we'll go to the left. Left hand behind you, push into your back hand. Right hand is pressing on your left thigh to bring you around. And it might be that for a second you go into it really deep just to feel it. Maybe it feels really good. And then you ease off. I like to do that. Good. Resist the urge to, do something like this. You don't want to do that where you're like leaning way back. And resist the urge to tweak your head and move your head all the way around. Try to keep everything stacked. Okay, come on back to center. Pause for just a moment. And then bring your legs out in front of you. Let's do just a little forward bend. So exhale, come forward. Inhale, come up. 2 more times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale, come up. All right. So here's where it gets a little bit more complicated. So bend both of your knees. And this is my right heel. I'm going to bring my right heel underneath, close to my left hip. It's not right next to it, but it's just sort of in that region, okay? So that's step one. Next step is to then either flatten this foot out, okay? So that's one of our setups. You could even take a block and put it under there for a little bit more support. Or if it's okay with your knees, check in with them. You'll cross your left ankle over, okay? So that feels a little bit more stable. You might have to, adjust a little bit here just to make sure that you're stable. Okay, so we're in a little bit of a pretzel-y shape here. Try to, as much as you can, flex both of your feet. This one's on the ground, so you don't need to worry about that one too much. And then practice just sitting up tall like this, okay? If anything feels too intense, if you feel any tingling, especially, you want to just ease out of this. Usually just backing up a little bit helps, okay? So let's try that same twist again with this new bottom part, okay? So breathe in. Whichever leg is on top, turn toward that leg. So it's my left leg. I'm going to turn toward my left leg and do that same twist that we just did. So I feel it a whole lot more in my hip, a lot more in the left low back area. Maybe I even bring this hand closer to me on the blanket. And all the same rules apply. If you go in too deep and you can't breathe, come out of it. So let's take one more breath together and overall just relax your effort. Inhale, bring your head back to center, your chest and your belly in that order. And then we'll switch the legs, okay? So let's just come back to straight staff pose, okay? Bend your knees. So this time, left heel comes under and in the vicinity of my right hip. And then my right knee bends, right? I can sit just like this. Or I can cross my right foot over, okay? And then you might need to get a little bit more situated, okay? So practice just sitting up nice and tall here. Feeling the right and the left side of your body even in terms of weight distribution, okay? And then when it feels good for you, you'll move into a twist. And maybe you don't want to do the twist. Maybe just sitting like this is enough of a stretch, and adding a twist would just feel like too much. So you can skip that part. You can turn, just a little bit. But wherever you are, keep breathing and keep tuning into the sensations that you're feeling in your body. Okay? Good. So I notice how much different this feels on this side for me. So I'd be curious what it feels like for you. Good. Take one more breath and just relax your overall effort. Good. Bring your head back to center, your chest, your belly. Bring both legs out in front of you. Good. Do some windshield wipers, so hands behind you, feet back and forth. Good. All right, so if you have a strap, go ahead and grab your strap. You'll unravel it for yourself. And you might not use it, but good to have it there in case you want to grab it. So for this next one, notice I'm still up quite a bit. There's definitely a couple inches here that my hips are lifted up off of the ground. So this is the basic setup for our next pose, okay? So my right knee is bent and it's in line with my right hip. and my foot is on the ground. And notice it's pretty close. It's hugged in pretty close, okay? I have maybe, a couple inches there. And then my left leg, the one that's straight, is also, it's even here. My left ankle is in line with the knee is in line with my hip, okay? So check that for yourself. Interlace your fingers in front of your knee and just practice sitting here like this. Feeling your weight evenly distributed through the right and the left side. Okay, so what we're going to try here is to reach your arms up and notice the tendency for your right knee to want to fall out to the side. So try to avoid that. Keep hugging it in and keep reaching your arms up. Okay, take one more breath, breathe in. And then as you exhale, bring your hands in front of you. And look, I'm going to keep my right leg hugged in, but my whole body, as much as you can, right, is going to come on the inside of that right leg, okay? Hands can come. This is another great option. They can come onto your blocks. Okay, notice I'm keeping my back extended. You can come forward. Keep hugging that right knee in like it's snuggling up, like a cute little dog that just wants to snuggle with you, and it keeps getting closer and closer and closer, right? So it's just snuggled in like that. And you're flexing your left foot. This is where your strap comes in to help pull you forward, okay? Try not to lift your right hip up like this. Try to keep it grounded down. And then for those of you who want to be a little bit more adventurous, we can try what's called a bind, okay? So you can do it without the strap or with the strap, but basically you'll bring the strap around you. This right arm goes forward like you're going to shake my hand again. Hello. And then you bring it out to the right side. You bring it back behind you and you can grab the strap, in theory, right? So this is just an option if this is of interest to you. You can also grab your hands and keep hugging your right knee in, push down into your right foot. Okay, inhale, undo your bind if you have that, lift back up. Okay, bring both of your legs out in front of you and just assess. So we get into the habit of pausing in between our poses just to see, how did that feel in the moment? How does it feel after we're out of it? Do I need to adjust anything for next time? Okay, so we'll do the other side. So bend your left knee. Oh, the other thing is, you might have a question of how close is my left foot to my right thigh? So take your palm just like this and place your palm right in between. And that's about how much space. So you have, I'll show you. Okay, so you have about one palm in between, okay? So we'll sit up nice and tall. On this side, interlace your fingers, maybe close your eyes. Weight is evenly distributed across your sits bones. You're welcome to do it with your eyes closed. You can also open your eyes. Go ahead and reach your arms up. And before you bend forward, just take another breath and really try to lengthen through your sides. That was one of the first things we did was we worked on the shoulders and we worked on lengthening the sides of the body, right? And then exhale, keep your left knee hugged in as you reach your arms forward. Okay, you might not be able to touch your foot. Don't worry about that. Just bring them next to your knee and come on down. Keep stamping into your left foot. Okay, remember we have our friends, the blocks here. And think about bringing your chest forward towards your toes, and that's going to encourage you to keep lengthening and extending. So the poses that we've done so far, some of the new ones, they're in what's called the Marichyasana family or series, and there's 3 of them. So the sage, they're named after the sage, Marichyasana, the sage. Asana meaning pose. That wasn't part of his name, but it's, his pose. Okay, if you want to do the bind, you'll reach your left arm forward like you're going to shake my hand again. Bring it out to the side and back behind you. Interlace your fingers, or you have your strap here. Okay, and you can really work with the strap. You can have one arm way out to the side here, and it just gives you an opportunity to hug this knee in more, kind of squeeze it in by using your arm and maybe come forward a little bit more, okay? It's just an option. You can always stay, right here, okay? No worries. And maybe you're hanging out here and just practicing keeping that left knee in, okay? So let's release here. Go ahead and bring your knees out in front of you, straightening them, and windshield wiper back and forth. Good. All right, so we'll try one more practice here, one more stretch. So we use the whole mat, and you'll bring 2 blocks in front of you. You can even do them at their highest height. And go ahead and fold one blanket so that you're folding it double and you can sit on it. And then just for some extra comfort, take your other blanket, unfold it. And that'll be a little bit of support for your knees, okay? So let's start with your left foot in front. So we've done this pose before. This is just a low lunge, right? And I'm about at 90 degrees with both of my legs. So you can always come back here and just hang out here, right? So we're gonna go forward and back. You can even tuck your back toes under, forward and back, okay? So if you don't want to go any farther than this, you just hang out here. Good. Drop your knee down, forward and back. Okay, and then go ahead and bring your blocks with you. Come and sit down. Okay, and take your right hand on your calf muscle, pull it out to the side. So here we're back on the sits bones, evenly on the right and left side, sitting up tall, getting used to this position. And of course, you can always sit up higher. So this is kind of like a medium height. If I were to add the block, I'm up a lot higher there, and that feels very freeing, okay? There's not as much pressure on my joint. So you can also do it right like this. And then you'll exhale and come forward. Let's inhale to come up. Exhale to come forward. Maybe you want to stay there. Maybe you like this dynamic movement. Okay, let's pause here, take a few moments. And come on up. So it's actually a lot easier than you think to get out of it. One option is to just bring your knee in front. Okay, if that's not possible, then you'll bring your hands in front of you and come up and out of it this way, okay? And then we'll switch sides. So we start with the lunge on the right, and just going back and forth. Okay, you can always remember, tuck your back toes under. And maybe you work right here for today. Okay, other option is to sit back. So you want to take your left calf muscle out. Have a seat down. Of course, you can sit up on something a lot higher or not. Okay, so practice just sitting here. And this is by the way, a very normal, natural way for your knee to bend. You know, it's not like anything that it's not supposed to be doing. It's just sometimes we don't get into this position. So we're just simply bending the knee, right? It's a hinge joint and we're just fully bending it. So sit up nice and tall. Up to you if you want to hinge forward, but what that would look like is to breathe in, lengthen your spine, engage your quad, and then exhale and come forward. Try not to do this just to get closer, right? Try to keep your back extended and come down. Walks are nice because you can do this. Let's take another breath. Okay, come on up. Bring both of your legs out in front of you like this, or bring your hands in front of you into the lunge. So find a comfortable position to rest in. We'll wind down together, taking just a moment or two here. And you're welcome to do really anything that would feel good after that. That might have stirred up just some new sensations. So might be nice to do a child's pose. You can do a supported child's pose, something like this. I'm just going to kind of show one option here. You can lie on your back. Normally we end class like that, right? I have you lie on your back, but this might feel good. So notice the quality of your breath. Remind yourself of your intention. You're welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. Otherwise, come on up into a seat. You can sit again in any position that feels comfortable. We'll sit quietly together for a moment. And again, you can sit here as long as you'd like, of course. Just continue to watch your breath, enjoy this little meditative moment. Otherwise, go ahead and open your eyes. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you learned something. Hope that you feel a little bit more just open and embodied and aware of your hips and low back. And I hope to see you again soon. This is Francesca with Physio Ed. Thank you.